Good morning and welcome back to another episode of the Arrow Preacher Podcast. I am your dashing host, the Arrow Preacher. I hope everybody is having a great and fantastic week. If you are in the Midwest moving to the East, if you are in the pathway of that giant storm that seems to be imminent, I'm praying for y'all. I am definitely praying for y'all. I am in North Carolina, and it looks like we're going to get some ice. Unfortunately, I was pretty happy with the idea that we were going to get some snow. Unfortunately, it looks like the snow is not in the forecast anymore. I mean, it looks like it's going to be an ice storm instead. Goody. Yay. That's so frustrating. I wanted snow for my birthday. I wanted a lot of snow for my birthday so I could take the drone up and get some pictures and go and, just take some pictures with my cloak in the snow and my sword and the snow and everything, because I'm a nerd like that. And I like going out and pretending like I'm on a far distant planet, exploring, or in a fantasy world or something like that. I enjoy stuff like that. And yes, I am a grown man, and I still like doing stuff like that because I appreciate my inner child. In fact, I call myself a man-child pretty often. And if you look around the office, all of the Batman cars up here and down here, and Batman up here, and on this side, you got all of the Star Trek right here and right here. Yes, I'm a grown man with a whole bunch of stuff. I've got the Enterprise, and now I've got the Lego Enterprise up here, and I've got Star Wars, and I've got Marvel, and I've got DC, and I've got more DC over there. And yes, I'm a child. But it's okay, because I get my stuff done. I take care of my responsibilities. I take care of my family. I clean. I teach, and I do this. So one of the things that I've realized, especially in the last year and a few months, is don't take life for granted. And I know so many people are so worried about everything going on politically. They're so worried about, are we headed towards the next world war? Are we headed towards a civil war? And while all of that very well may be true, because I'm not saying it's not, and I totally believe it's 100% possible and plausible to believe that that is a likely outcome. What I am saying is this: enjoy life. The Lord gave you a beautiful planet to live on. Now, I guarantee it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I do. I have tried, and I have tried, and I have tried, and I have asked 100 times to get people to like, comment, subscribe. I've asked 100 times for them to share this video, and that is one of the hardest things I think I've ever had to try to do, is just get people to engage with the video so that way it can get more likes and shares and stuff like that. But I think one of the things that as discouraging as that is, I am not going to let that get me down. I am not going to let the numbers on this channel get me down. I'm going to continue to do this and continue to do this. And if it's only one or two people, I'm going to continue to do this. But you know what? Life is grand, isn't it? We have been given a beautiful planet. We have been given a beautiful space to enjoy life. And a lot of people think that when they become a Christian, or if I were to become a Christian, I have to give up all this stuff. I have to give up the drinking, the smoking, and the partying, and the sex, and everything. And while it is true, when you become a Christian, there are things of the world that you no longer want to participate in. But that does not mean that we don't have fun. It doesn't mean that we don't find the enjoyment in life. I just talked to my cardiologist yesterday, and they said that even though I've been struggling with my heart rate getting up to the 150s range, now, some context, my pacemaker, it is set to 155. Now, it has a safety that can allow it to go to 160 or to deal with my heart rate if it gets above 155. But regardless of that, the 150 is the absolute top that we're all comfortable with my heart rate going. And it's been difficult because the other day I went for a walk, and while I was on that walk, I was going up a little bit of a inclined hill, and I looked down, and I started feeling like I had run a 200-meter sprint, and by the time I got done, I was like, "Wow, I don't feel so great." And I looked down, and sure enough, 150. So I slowed down a little bit. I let my heart rate come back down into the 140s, and I continued on. That whole trip, I think I got up to about 150 twice, 2-3 times maybe. And each time I just slowed down, I concentrated on my breathing, and I walked about 1.25 miles. And I felt really, really good. Now, whether I feel safe or not, that's an entirely different matter. But I felt really good about what I had accomplished. And it is pretty amazing that I have fought hard. I have fought the good fight. And I just want to share with y'all what exactly I've been fighting for. So, as you all know, I had heart surgery November of 24. And unfortunately, I went into heart block and I had complications, and I was in the hospital in December of 24. And unfortunately, that particular pacemaker that I got after I went into heart block was causing positional diaphragmatic spasms. And unfortunately, in November of 25, I had to have my pacemaker replaced again. Even though I've gone through all that, and some people may look at this and they'll be like, that's not even a whole lot of miles each day if you break it down into a full year. But I started my journey around January of 25. And I started the Conqueror Challenge around January. And since I started, I have traveled to date 1,270 miles. And this month alone, I have traveled in the ballpark of almost 114 miles. Now, why do I say that? I say that because I've accomplished 4 out of the 5 challenges. And 4 out of those 5 challenges, my birthday is in just a couple days. And I have fought very, very hard. And I am so proud and humbled to be able to come to you and say, even though I've had all of these challenges, even though I've had my knee injury, and I've had an ankle injury, and I've had infections, and I've had all kinds of stuff happen because of surgery and because of just injuries, I now have less than 12 miles to go. Less than 12 miles. And it may look like I can very well finish on my birthday. How wonderful of a birthday gift would it be to finish what I started a year ago? And mind you, I am 52.7 miles ahead of schedule. I think that's pretty wonderful, if you ask me. I think we should take time in our lives to appreciate what we have. I think it's appropriate that we look at our lives and consider just all of the wonderful blessings that we have. I've been looking back at my life, and I have often recently said how wonderful it is that God said no to some of my prayers. I have been thinking about how wonderful it is to have those prayers end in no. And because I think about where I would be if I had actually gotten what I wanted. See, we often pray to God for things, and if God says no, we often get mad. But what we fail to realize is that God is just looking out for us. And if He says no, there's a reason. If He says no, He's looking out for us. And remember, sometimes it's no, not right now. Just because it's a no doesn't mean it's a forever no. When Paul was on his missionary journey, he kept trying to go into Asia and he said multiple times they tried to go into Asia, and each time they weren't able to. God said no. God had other plans. We too must realize that if God says no, that's okay. Sure, do we want what we want? Of course. But that doesn't mean that God doesn't know best. So let's take some time. Let's look at the blessings. Let's enjoy life. Let's take a minute and stop and smell the roses. Look at the life that's all around you. Look at the squirrels and the trees and the plants, and even as frustrating as people are, look at the people. People are beautiful. Even if they're evil inside. God made each of us. And God created every single one of us. And some vessels are for good and some vessels are not. And that's okay. But no matter what, this world is a beautiful place. Now it's full of ugly people, sure. And it's full of dangers and all that, but there's beauty too. I know I've said this, the most beautiful sunrise I've ever seen was over the Euphrates River on a bridge while I was on mission in Iraq. Most beautiful sunrise ever. The most vibrant purples and pinks and like a bluish, orangish, all kinds of colors. And the most beautiful stars I ever saw was in Kuwait. Horizon to horizon, stars. No light pollution for like 80 miles. Just beautiful stars. Take some time. Send a hello to a friend. Send hello to someone you love that you haven't talked to in a while. But enjoy life. Take a minute, put the phone down. Enjoy life for just a minute. Look at the beauty all around you. So as always, I ask you to like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, I ask that you share the video with at least just one person. And I hope to see everybody soon. I'm going to get ready to go to my 3-4 appointments today, and guitar lessons is one of them. And just enjoy life. All right. I'll see you guys later. Take care. God bless.